beloved, sometimes God has to shut us up so that we can listen to him and find out for sure what he's doing. Sometimes we're making so much noise, blowing a whole lot of hot air, talking loud and saying louder, and you can't even hear what the word of God is trying to tell you. Sometimes God has to shut us up before we refuse what he wants to do for us. And so he has to take away something we already have so that we can receive something that's brand new. And it's not that God is trying to punish us. It's not that God is trying to be hard on us. It's that we are so sure about things that we can do and cannot do and what God can do and cannot do that we resist the best things that God has in store for us.
Right.
I want to remember when my youngest son Thomas was a little boy. He would get so talkative and loud that he couldn't hear what I was trying to say. So every now and then, I would just have to put my hand over his mouth so that I could stop the flow of words and get in a few of my own. I had to shut him up so he could listen to me. And God is trying to shut some of y'all up right now so that you can hear what he's saying. He's trying to shut you up now to let you know that your blessing is on the way.
Right now.
He's trying to shut you up so you can hear him say that your deliverance is around the corner. He's trying to shut you up crying about what you lost because you don't hear him saying that I've got something greater for you. He's saying to somebody this morning, yeah, you lost a lot in 2015, but I'm going to do you like Job. I'm going to give you double. I'm going to trouble. That's why my preacher has to say, no, you slay me. Guess what? I trusted him. And I'll maintain my own way before him. I heard him say, oh, of the days of my appointed time, I'm going to wait until my change comes. I'm going to stay on my knees and remain silent before him and let him speak to me. God shuts us up too sometimes so that we can listen to him and find out what we thought was never going to happen is going to happen. Somebody needs to get that in their spirit right now. God takes something away from us. Not because he wants to punish us, but because he wants to get our undivided attention. The issue that we, like Zechariah, have given up on God. We think that what we want is impossible. But I came to prophesy to somebody this morning that nothing is impossible for God. Well, let me run on here. Well, as the story proceeds, we find that Zechariah's wife Elizabeth is in the 6th month of her pregnancy when she gets a visit from her cousin Mary. Now, cousin Mary was much younger than cousin Elizabeth, probably just a teenager. And Mary was single, engaged but not yet married, and totally inexperienced, just a kid. But when Mary comes to see her cousin Elizabeth, Mary has quite a story to tell. Now pause right here and try to put yourself in Elizabeth's place. You're sitting here 6 months along. Your hips done spread. Your stomach is sitting up like a bowl. Your nose done got wide. You done got dark up under your eyes.
All right now.
Everything your husband say to you make you either want to cry or throw something at you.
Yeah.
Waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning wanting tuna fish and pickles. And then you're sitting there very uncomfortable, trying to look halfway dignified. As this little slip of a girl waltzes in and tells you while it's nice that you're having a baby, that you ain't seen nothing yet.
All right now.
She says that the angel visited her too. And she too is going to have a baby. Just like the messenger has visited Zechariah and promised Elizabeth that she would have a child, Mary said that she has been visited and that she is going to have a child. But can you top this? Her child is to be called the Son of the Most High.
Right now.
Her child is to be called Emmanuel, Isaiah said that the government shall be upon his shoulders and his name shall be called Wonderful. Anybody know the Lord is wonderful? Wonderful. Counselor, the mighty God. Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Now, if you were Elizabeth, what would you have thought? If you were Elizabeth, what would you do about this? Do you get jealous? Do you just blow her off? Do you put down your young cousin? No. Elizabeth was glad for Mary. She believed her and she blessed her and congratulated her. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb. Elizabeth found joy in Mary's miraculous situation. Why? Because you see, once you have found out what the Lord can do,
All right now.
then your faith expands and you believe that it can happen for other people too.
All right.
And then you can spread hope. You can spread encouragement.
All right.
One, you find out for yourself that nothing is impossible for God, then you help others to see it too. And so I say to you this morning, beloved, if the Lord has done something for you, you ought to tell somebody.
All right now.
And if God is doing something for somebody else, then you ought to be glad about it. Because if God is blessing someone else, that means that your blessing is soon on the way. Because God is in the neighborhood. You'll be able to encourage folks while you're waiting. You'll be able to boost folks when they move up. You'll be able to celebrate with others' good fortune. It's so much nicer to be a celebrant than it is to be a hater. Hate is an ugly thing.
It sure is.
When you hate, you're not smiling.
That's right.
When you hate, evil is stirring up on the inside.
All right now.
When you hate, you become jealous and covetous. But the bad thing is about when you're harboring hate, you are blocking the hand of God
All right now.
from giving you what he has for you. I'm so glad the hymnologist wrote that it is no secret
What God can do.
what God can do.
All right.
For what he's done for others, he'll do for you. And so every time I see one of my professionals being blessed, I celebrate the goodness of God. When we first started in this ministry, I had a car that was so raggedy that when it backfired, that's what gave it momentum to go. I had a car that was so raggedy that the headliner would fall on my head like a hat. But as we begin to move on, I saw others in the congregation blessed with nice cars, beautiful cars, luxurious cars. But I did not hate, but I celebrated with them. Everybody who remembers me celebrating with them when they got a car, raise your hand. When you came to the parking lot and showed me your car, I got in front of your car. And I did my best. Because I knew that if I gave God praise for what he did for you, that sooner or later, by and by, that same God that gave you your car would give me one too. Somebody needs to learn this morning that not only is it more blessed to give than it is to receive, but it's more blessed to give thanks and to congratulate. You can say, hey, if you believe it, say yeah. If you believe it, say yeah. Oh, yeah. I know you will. And if God has done something for you, you ought to tell somebody. And if God is doing something for somebody else, be glad for them. Hope is contagious. Joy is catching. And whenever you find somebody who thinks that their life has gotten to an impossible place, tell them what the Lord has done for you. And you will help both them and yourself. You will encourage them, and you will boost yourself as well. Believe it and tell it, for there is nothing impossible for God. And you know, at the right time, in God's time, you are going to find out that believing in God of possible impossibilities will guide you. It will heal you. It will empower you. And it will make you strong. Believing that nothing is impossible with God and trusting God to do for you and in you what he really wants to do. When it all plays out, in the end, you'll be incredibly strong. You'll be able to do what you need to do, not just what others expect of you. And so at the end of this story, as I hurry on to a close, Elizabeth's child is born. All the neighbors and friends from the town gathered around and began suggesting names for the boy. Most of them said he looks just like his daddy. Let's name him Zach Jr. But Elizabeth said, no, we're going to call him John. Because that's